The project timeline has also been a question that has come up throughout this process. The project timeline, and obviously it should go without saying that this is all aspirational. We are here with you today in 2023 in the hopes that this body can come together and find a pathway forward to have legislation enable what we're talking about here today. Major League Baseball has signaled on multiple occasions, including very recently that's been made national news about its expectation to take up this issue as early as next month relative to providing the league's approval for the A's to relocate from Oakland to Las Vegas. The next element on my chart is when site construction begins. And obviously, there's a lot of work that happens between 2023 and late 2024 or early 2025 when site construction begins. Right? This facility is the current location of where the Tropicana Hotel exists today. It has to be demolished in order to make way for this and other development activity to take place. We're going to talk a lot as we go through the bill about the various agreements that are required in order to facilitate a project like this. Development agreement, lease agreement, non-relocation agreements, many things have to take place. The Stadium Authority Board has to do its job in making a number of findings. It ultimately has to request to Clark County for the issuance of bonds. The state treasurer has to be involved in terms of creating a credit enhancement. This is a simple timeline for purposes of making it clear how those things take place, but there are many, many things that will take place between these blocks. The expectation is that site construction will begin in late 2024 and early 2025. Construction is expected to be completed in 2028, and the first game expected to be played in spring of 2028. The facility that's being constructed is different in many ways. Certainly the expectation or the hope is that the level that is required by Senate Bill 509 is that it will become an asset, something that we can all be very proud of. But it also takes the Oakland A's from playing in among the largest venues in Major League Baseball to playing in its smallest venue in Major League Baseball. This is an important point overall because the expectation here is that the A's are going to generate about 28,000 people that are going to attend those games. Different levels, we talk about concerts and other special events, and we'll talk more about that as we continue to go through. But what the A's are talking about doing is building a facility that is configured and designed to the size of demand. In doing so, creating an opportunity to drive demand and in some ways perhaps drive scarcity overall. That facility is designed very intentionally along those lines. The expense and the difficulty and some of the challenges that are inherent in building any type of facility is exactly where the seats are located, how it is configured, how intimate you can make the facility, how great every seat in it can be. The way that they do this is by eliminating some of the seats that are traditionally down the right field line and the left field line, which are some of the most expensive to fill and some of the lowest in terms of the ability to generate revenue from them. In this particular case, the A's are expecting to be right in the middle of all Major League Baseball teams in terms of the attendance that they provide, but being at or near the highest in Major League Baseball in terms of occupancy rate by essentially building a smaller footprint relative to the facility that for baseball games overall. The second element of presentation today deals specifically with the funding structure. And I know there have been a lot of questions relative to the funding structure, so perhaps starting at its most basic is what is critically important. The overall project is expected to cost roughly $1.5 billion overall. The A's are willing to put in not less than $1.1 billion. Nevada, in terms of the economic development incentives and the package that we're going to talk about today, can be no more than $380 million overall. Critical to all of this is that as part of the agreement, including provisions that are specifically called out in Senate Bill 509, if there is any cost overrun, it is solely the responsibility of the A's in the construction or development of the facility. Additionally, if there are any losses that result from the operation of the facility, that is solely the responsibility of the A's. Obviously, building a project of this magnitude does not come without risk. Costs can ebb and flow. If those costs are above what is expected, again, solely the responsibility of the A's. The project structure is shown here in this sort of overly simplified flow chart here. The top